A ver, vamos a ver se me escoita. Vamos a poñer o xogo. Hostia, que peligro. Espera. Ostras, non acabo de iniciar este xogo. Casi me pone a capturar a ventana de Telegram. Non era plan. Máis que nada. Eh, vale, entendo que agora se ve. Bueno, primeiro de todo, moi boas a Farun, que entendo que anda por aí. Dios, teño un cable pisado pola cadeira e isto non mola. Ahora. A proscrito Xan, que lle debo a seguir a canle, así que, bueno, benvido. Graciñas polo seguimento. Estaba eu esto, estas cousas solo me pasan a min. Estaba eu facendo movidas pola casa e sabedes o mítico meme este de creo que é de 2 homes e medio, non viña esa serie, que é como creo que me esquezo de algo. Se non te esqueces de algo, o sea, se non te acordas será que non é importante. Tes razón. Despois está o neno solo na chuvia. Bueno, pois pues, o neno é o directo. E estaba eu como creo que me esquezo de algo. Non será importante. De repente penso, hostia, hoxe non tiño un directo de The Beginner's Guide. Bueno, efectivamente, entre Mass Effect 1 e Mass Effect 2 dixera que iba a facer hoxe un directo de Beginner's Guide, que nunca o xoguei. Así que non sei se eso responde á pregunta. Bueno, xa respondín antes, code. Entendo que yo preguntabas a Antón. Non sei se o seu xogo favorito ou non, pero si foi un xogo que me insistiu que xogase. Non teréis sorte isto. Esto hai no que... Espera un segundo. Esto se puede cambiar o idioma desde as propiedades de Steam. Sí, vale. Hai que cambiar yo desde as propiedades de Steam. Non teño a opción de cambiar yo desde o menú do xogo, non? Quero decir agora, por exemplo, correcto. Vale, pois vamos a ver. Non sei de que vai este xogo, a verdade. É destes xogos que creo que escoitas. Non sei, eu penso que levo moitos anos escoitando falar del. Igual que con... Non me vai salir o que xoguei hai pouco. De Stanley Parable. Non hai subtítulos. Porras. Vale. Vale. Hmm. Ostras. Vale. Pregunta, se está vendo ben, rollo, o tamaño da letra? Non sei se o podo ampliar. Porque se non intento empezar o sea, un dos motivos polos que quería os subtítulos é porque se teño que estar traducindo sobre a marcha vai ser complicado. Pero claro, si non se ve ben, igual teño que empezar a resumir un pouco que é o que está dicindo. No. Esta é a resolución correcta, modo de vídeo pantalla completa, orden de versión, non sei que, modo de filtro. Si, non sei que cambios fixen, pero non. Ah, si, o tema da resolución. Que non o cambiei realmente, pero. No, non vexo que se poida modificar. Bueno, entón, está dicindo, o sea, vou resumir de vez en cando para que, ainda que solo sexa para que se entenda que é o que está pasando. Está dicindo que reuniu unha serie de xogos que fixo o seu amigo Koda. Bueno, estou entendendo que é amigo, pero tampouco. Si creo que dixo en algún momento. Porque o inspiraron artísticamente. E que quere que o seu amigo volva a facer xogos ou algo así, e vai nos poñer como momentos. Está poñendo as datas dos diferentes xogos. Este di que o rematou en novembro de 2008. Ah, de vicio. Que está pasando? Escapa do susurro. LOL. Vale. Dios. Aviso, máquina de susurros activada, evacuación inmediata. Ah. Quedeme sin munición xa. O sea, entendo que... Vale, eso estaba pensando eu. Ah, vale. Vale, está ben. Sí, se pode ver a parte de abaixo do universo. Pero si pola música. Ah, vale, de acordo. Vale, que pasa se o fas? Ay, qué bonito, por favor. Guau, esto me recuerdo. Basado estaba detrás de ella. Ah, lembrame moito o laberinto de Windows, o que estaba salvapantallas en Windows 98. Vale, digo, pasado estaba detrás de ella, pero o futuro non se pode ver, porque o futuro non deixa de cambiar. Cando se ten e mira todo está claro. Pero se o futuro sempre está detrás dela, como atopará a forza para enfrentarse a él? Interesante. Ahora estás entrando. Uhum. Tonterías en todas as direccións. Titulas este xogo. Y esos correos electrónicos de un enemigo para aprender a derrotarlo. Construís un muro, destrúese e danche unha medalla. Bueno, vale. Preparados, listos a pescar. Vale, eso acaba de ser interesante. Agora está saindo. Ah, claro. Os títulos que aparecen non son necesariamente os títulos do capítulo. Ostras. Y se marchó. Ah, vale, esto non era simplemente en plan vamos a probar qué pasa si me tiro. Con casi toda seguridad me tiña que tirar. ¿Puedo atravesar esa parte? Vale, no sé por qué. Pero esto no se puede atravesar. Bueno, non sei, no, o sea, porque non está programado, pero para atravesarse. What? Ah, esto é un ascensor. Oh, shit. Vale, sí, está... ¡Opa! La pregunta é como se che ocorre esperar unha hora a que se abra, en plan... Porque eu probablemente tería pechado o xogo. Esto xa apareceu antes. Estes 3 puntos xa apareceron antes. Sí. Ah. No está mi puta vida. Ahora que... Opa. Ahora escoita esa. Espacio negro en transportes.
And so we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level.
Xa sei a que se refire co espacio negro en transportes.
Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out. I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, you know, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're gonna see it in the work as well. His games are just gonna become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
Está siendo interesante, pero ¿sabes eso me estoy preguntando? Si esto es verdaderamente a obra do tal Coda ou é simplemente como... Bueno, se o tal Coda é un amigo seu ou é el... Todas as notas que vais dixeron os outros xogadores. 2009. Ja. Bonita habitación, pues no. Podo deixar... Como deixo notas?
So first off, I'm sure you can deduce this, but this game is not connected to the internet. All of the notes that you're gonna see have been written by Coda. This was actually the first game of his that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so different from anything that anyone else was doing. So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this person.
Esto no merece la pena.
In retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy, trying to get his attention. I was over-enthusiastic. But he was very gracious about it and very patient with me. And I cooled off eventually.
Hay alguien ahí. Hola. Razoable.
Feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them.
Leer a todo mundo.
Either way, to me they convey a sense of loneliness. I see this person who's filled with thoughts and feelings and beliefs and has no way to express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played.
Defino que diversión. Ese parezo eu, gilipollas.
But it's ironic, isn't it? That in playing this game and seeing how alone Coda often felt, that we get to know him better and actually kind of connect with him.
¿Cómo es que hay madera?
I have to be honest with you, this idea is really seductive to me. That I could just play someone's game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work. I think this is why I always liked Coda's games so much, is because it felt like they let me have that connection. I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world. And then I feel less lonely too.
Acabo de ver un pingüín voador. Direiche con as cousas máis maxestosas que vin. Non me apetece seguir vivo porque nada será tan maxestoso. Non quero ver nada senón igual de maxestoso. Estou chorando e quero arrincarme os ollos. É o que vou facer. Omega Lul. Non teñas medo, estou aquí. Este xogo non mola, que lle me gustase. Sentiste como xa como un heroe. Nun mundo cheo de notas, un home as leerá todas. Este verán, creerás que os bocadillos de diálogo azuis poden falar. Guai, home a caverna. Estamos quedando sin espacio, pronto nos asfixiaremos. Por qué? Hai moitos mensaxes nesta zona. Preferiría estar literalmente facendo calquera cousa antes que xogar a isto. O tío de aí escribiu moitas tonterías. Ei, ti, podo escribir aquí. ¿Cómo? ¿Qué merda es esta caverna? ¿Qué rollo? Garanto que hay... Eu non te chequei unha landra aquí en algunha parte os mañanes están buscando a... Entendo que isto é unha referencia a Fable. A Pierre Molinet dicindo que Fable era un xogo tan grande que podías plantar unha landra e ver como se convirte nun majestoso carballo. Ai, Dios mío. Rapaces, só estou buscando algún con quen falar. Nego a creermo. Que... non podo... Hai algún outro sitio polo que me poida mover? Entendo que non. Que este xogo ou este nivel ou que se supoña que é isto non te deixa exploralo todo. Únicamente que... Ah, a ver, aquí non hai nada, dá a volta. Non escoites ese tío. Unha camiseta gratis. Necesito ir ao outro lado da porta. Por que ti? Enténdote. Non, ten sentido, pos unha porta. A porta non se abre, grazas. Ábrete, sésamo. Como se abre a porta? Ah! Vale, igual hai que seguir por aquí. Un día coñeceré a persoa que fixo isto. Axudou a xente porque me sinto ben por dentro. Ostras. Nova sala! Ou esas campás fan que te movas. Gustaríame moito que alguén me desexase. Benvido. Parabéns. Non sei realmente onde ir con isto. Podes entrar aquí, creo. Aquí non hai moita xente. Asústame ter que escribir algo. Non me gusta que se me xulgue. Un xogo onde deixas notas e de súpeto todos son poetas. Nin te molestes. Aquí é onde me largo. Non puiden escribir nada aquí. Síntome obrigado. Para, date a volta. Se continúas só conseguirás miseria. Toma a miña man e saltemos xuntos. Espera, podo ler un par de cousas antes de saltar? Orpolo da forma da nosa nación. Que é ese cadro? Non fales así de min. Non importa se consegues chegar algunha vez ali. Que xogo máis bo. Creo que isto non conduce a ninguna parte. Pois unha vez farei no mellor. Preciso algún con quen falar. E isto unha nota? Non fagas caso ás demais notas. Vale. Imos saltar. Ou imos intentalo. E desmos salta a ti, non me fagas partícipe da túa tolemia. Ah, no. F. Por que, coda? Porque eu quería tomar a túa man e saltar xuntos. F por coda. Non é unha canción de tan xugueiras que se chama Coda ou algo así. Que é como un remix de outras que teñen. Dime. Non estou seguro. Hoxe aprendín que non podes caerte. Ético. Vi unha persoa caminando por ali, pero non regresará. Estrela Torre Demo. Ben feito todos vos. Cadro, que significa? Deixa de finxir. Arte. O que fixo isto que ten algún problema. Rapaces, que tal andamos aquí? Axuda, estou intentando falar. Creo que isto trata de que as cousas non se ven ben de preto e perfectas estende moi lonxe. Desde aí arriba aparecen só puntos. Escoitase como un susurro, ¿no? Por detrás. O repolo da forma da nosa nación. Eso Shaolin. Todos morreremos algún día. Xixo, mima. Quen sodes todos vos? Esto volveu filosófico de súpeto. Deixa de finxir que és outra persoa. Spoiler, isto non significa nada. Estrela Torre Demo. Iso tamén o link. Isto trata de que este xogo é pretencioso e vos da desasco. Vos da desnoxo. Ok, gracias. Non tamén te quero. Igual algún día seré real. Él era a criatura máis horrible que podía imaginar. Bueno, aquí estou. Sí, todos estamos aquí. Pero debe de haber algunha razón para iso. Guardaba ben o seu terrible segredo. Superei o xogo. Máis salas?
At the end of this level, we're going to see the puzzle again. And here, I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means. Each of these games represents an idea that was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it. And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one.
Boas, Dito, ¿qué tal? Asusta meter que escribir algo, no me gusta que se me suele esto, tamén o lío. Escapar, preciso escapar. Cortouno e propagouno entre os mundos. Está curioso a psicofonía que se escuta de fondo. Case rematei, vino todo, viaxei polo mundo, non lle dixo a ninguén. Viaxei polo mundo, sino por todo o mundo. Vale. O gallau se notas no mundo real. Convértese en un dos disparates en espiral. Cara abaixo, sigue escavando.
In each of his games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Coda can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution, he understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on.
Peches os ollos e o desexas con todas as túas forzas. Casi cheguei ao final. Dios, ahora me está lembrando a cando estás no Devil May Cry 3 me parece que na estatua que che dá os poderes me está lembrando un pouco a como os susurros que se escoitan de fondo. Este acertixo ten solución. O MG literalmente levo unha hora aquí. Que coño fago? Axuda. Ayuda, me van a empeñar. Esto non ten sentido, a segunda porta non se abre. Merda, como se resolve isto? Desenvolvedor, dá respostas, por favor.
And because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between spaces, before you move on, you get to pause. Just for a moment, a few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together. To grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
Volvo ao comezo, artícalo. Tíos, non o estou facendo tan mal. Non ten solución. Esta non ten resposta, creo. Non hai un segundo interruptor. Vale, esto está pequeño. Esto no prosigue por aquí. LOL. ¿Cómo se dice la nota? Estás ahí y algo. Nosotros que hicieron falar conmigo, por favor, porque estoy buscando falar tanto. Ah, fala. Ajá.
Okay, this one's tough. It's gonna kind of just spin its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it. See, like, this is it. The whole game. And there's nothing that's particularly interesting about it. You just walk to the end of a hallway. Except, for some reason, Coda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
Vale, ya decir... ¿Qué móviles deberían ir al centro de la habitación? Esto más por fin. Una pared. Estoy pensando en 10 por 12 lámpadas LED de 6 pulgadas incrustadas en rotator con molduras fluorescentes. Si ponemos unas bobinas deslencadas. Pienso que no entiendo nada que pasa en este show. No sé si tengo que entender. O sea, hay cosas. O sea, entiendo que no me coñeces. O Adrián está teniendo vídeos de sensorial. Ah, vale. A ver, ¿qué pasa si pone bobinas Tesla? Joder, eu quero que me faga caso con esas gilipolleces. Seguro que nada que escolla valerá para nada. 135. Vale, ok. What?
There's a bit more to this one, but still it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake.
Mientras tanto, ese pozo sigue ahí.
So, okay, he throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
Entenderé de eso final cando vexades su concepto global. Con esto que non todo o mundo interpreta o final igual. Hola, anda cara adiante. Esta guía axudarate a escapar de calquer escenario de prisión. Sigue as instruccións detidamente, procura lembrar cada paso. En primeiro lugar, fai clic nesta mesa. Ben, agora vai hacia o marco e xira o cara a dereita lixeiramente. Que marco? What? Ahora apaga a lámpada de esta habitación e logo volve a encendela. agora vai ao sofá que está á esquerda, move un pouco. Por último, toca as estanterías. Isto é unha prisión, nunha prisión real, o lugar de fuxida estará agora aberto. Regresa ao principio para regresar á túa prisión.
And of course, now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain of events to escape. Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside. Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly a dozen of them. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this, to see a person basically unraveling through their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I can be working on? But Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop, that particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going, and then he hits on something. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
Ajá. Claro, esto eran as cousas. Me faltan... Non vin o puzzle das portas? Ou sí, non sei, non me acordo. Hola? Quen es? Son ti despois de ter escapado da prisión. É seu? Ti tamén estás atrapada nesta prisión?
It's a conversation. And so this is what Coda wants, is to be able to talk to someone, to share what's on his mind, and to get some good advice from someone who knows. But the irony is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself. You know, all of these games so far are Coda talking to himself. I can see why he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay. Wouldn't that be nice? So what would it look like if Coda wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself? To me, this environment is meant to represent Coda's puzzle, with the 2 doors on either side and a dark transitional space between. You'll notice that the quality of the art is a step up from previous games, including this new and improved chat system, which he started using from this point on. From here on out, he begins putting much more effort into the visual polish of his work, and this particular game took 2 months to create as a result.
Eso es todo lo que importa. Eso es un sofá colocado. Maravilla. Aí vai parece que alguén se queda unha vida ao lado do sofá. Por que non lle pasa a fregona? Siendo unha obligación personalmente de compartir un pensamento cursi. Parece ben que es especialmente cursi. Hay que lavar estos platos, un par de ocho. ¿Eso está flotando? Ah, no. A última vez que me fixei na bañeira había que limpadas, porque non restregas o mellor que poda haber. Non fai falta que sexa perfectos, todos somos humanos. Pero vi libros tirados polo chan da habitación, aparte de chupañar los outros na estantería.
After the intense set of prison games, this house cleaning level almost feels like cleansing. It's the moment after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you, and eventually cohere into something meaningful. I know that Coda really liked this game. Of all of his work, actually, this was the only one that he called me up to ask me to come over and look at it. This was during a period of a few months where he was like grossly happy all the time, just walked around with a constant smile on his face. glad he made this. I'm glad he found some peace. But, of course, it can't last. The music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again, you can't stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive.
Literalmente acabas en plan, gustache facer isto e de repente se vai o personaxe. O desinstancian da vida.
Which is the whole point of the puzzle doors, right? That sooner or later you have to pick up and move. I really thought that was the point of it. This one gets a bit goofy.
Oh,
About halfway through the game, the perspective shifts. And you play as the teacher. And suddenly, you discover that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
hostia, colega. Pero me gusta este giro. O sea, claro, ¿cómo consigues un esfuerzo? Con el troll y señala a una persona que comenzase a contribuir. ¿Qué pasa? Sí. La bebida no está arruinando mi vida. Ay, me está saliendo un quiste, ¿qué haces? ¿Quiere pillar algo de él? Me estoy haciendo el culo. Porque te va a destruir.
I felt pretty hard for this one. I feel like it's one of the most relatable experiences that you can have. To assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human. I think about this game a lot these days. This one took a lot longer than all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
Hostia. En primer lugar, apóyate sobre la pared. Ah, esa pared. Estamos nunha reunión de profesionais. Correcto. Ben, quédate aí. A muller que está na habitación nesta silla é unha fotógrafa profesional de animais. Teu soño é fotografar animais profesionalmente. Esta é a túnica. Non me acabas de dizer que me quede aquí? Prudente, feliz, centrado, triunfar. Esto sabedes que non pasaría na vida real, ¿no? Isto non é a comer. Ser un ser humano. Faino de novo. Non estás pillando o tono da conversa. Era reticente pero sabía o que quería, tiña confianza. Por unha razón era só ese momento, pero tiña confianza. Igual que necesitas máis contexto sobre a situación, había demasiada xente ao redor. Por aí tal algo de atrezo, estos conos que rebotan cando os tocas. Tens que ter traballado moito para chegar. Te das cuenta que isto é importante para mí, non? Quero probar algo. Trata de los... ¿Eh? Que trate de lanzarme de escenario. Parece unha cara.
The game ends with this eerie premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer. But what can you do? After this, Coda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
Síntome persoalmente atacado. Viaxe de móviles, para xogar este xogo correctamente tens que facer cos ollos pechados. tengo ni idea de lo que estoy haciendo. Y que aparte no me está falando, tipo, ¿verdad?
You should probably open your eyes if you haven't already. It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise. And there is a solution, by the way.
Ajá. Es ese whisper. No puedo ver nada. No puedes ver nada. Cego, cego. Ah. Vale. Come che sei un invece. Prima porta siguiente disputado se quedó en negro. De momento estamos bien separados todos los escudos. Ah, igual es eso. La única forma de telo es diciendo algo que sea honesto. No puedo seguir facendo. Sí, eso es verdad.
Like I said, I was getting concerned. First off, he's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So where's that coming from? But then even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way. His games are going to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
Algo que me llama bastante la atención, no sé si es una cuestión de traducción, pero muchos textos están en femenino. Cuando fala o personaje está en femenino. E cando fala o narrador, fala de Coda en masculino.
If the last game featured Coda talking explicitly about his creative frustrations, This one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for? Because from my perspective at the time, and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on.
¿Qué pasa si...? Te acabo de dudar o xogo?
You can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash. Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like, video games are not worth this amount of suffering. This is someone I really cared about. And I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me. I don't know. This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. I had never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop.
¡Hostia!
But it didn't stop. After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
Un segundo que voy a encender la luz. Que a máquina fose eu? O sea, a interpretación que se estaba dando o tema era sí que é unha máquina, eres ti, que no proceso de intentar seguir creando te estás tratando a ti mesmo como unha máquina e non eres unha máquina, pero que de repente aparece a prisión. Capturamos a máquina. Pretendo ser brutal. Mío, ¿eh? Pretendo ser rápido. Muy bien. A ver si te digo que alguien chamou a prensa, así que podría mostrar algo de atención. Tamén hai outra cousa máis que debería saber sobre a máquina. Foi chamar Coda. Ah. ¿Qué es esta máquina? ¿Qué está haciendo la máquina? ¿Podemos ver a la máquina? ¿Cómo capturar esa máquina?
And of course, it's the machine. so now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation. And so, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for it? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral? Would it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work? So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all was just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of. Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do? Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need, to be told that my work is good, that I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something, I really felt like I'd done something good, like I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy, so beautifully, beautifully happy. So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made. So let's take a look. And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, The Tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game.
Siento esto un poco silente.
This room actually has a maze in it. Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise, so the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played, it actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all. But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze. And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze?
Hay cosas en todo esto que me recordan a procesos que eu fixen e que creo que sigo facendo. Hai cousas que me están falando moi claramente do proceso polo cal eu deixei de facer vídeos para YouTube. E se eu penso un pouco, tamén me poden estar falando hai outras partes do motivo polo que deixei de intentar escribir historias. Entón isto va así nun bucle que non sei moi ben como é velo desde fora. Porque igual parece que estou como non prestando atención ao xogo ou ignorando todo ao meu redor. E estou dando voltas a todo isto. Aquí nos pode tirar. Boas, Faron, que tal? A mí me está reventando a cabeza. Solo digo eso.
The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
No voy a interactuar con esto. Este en concreto, o do laberinto para mí ten outro significado, o do laberinto invisible. Pero este en concreto é unha cousa que me pasa con algúns xogos.
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem. But I can open this door for you, so let me do that. Was I a failure for not understanding this game? I mean, I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why. I remember, it's June of 2011. I'm playing this for the very first time, and as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean. And he wouldn't. I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy. It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me. But he stopped and left, and it felt somehow like I had failed. Where did I screw up?
A ver, por exemplo, na parte de, o de ensinarlle os xogos a outra persoa, rollo, non necesariamente lle ten por que sentar ben. O que ti pensas que a ti che sentaría ben non lle ten por que sentar ben a outro creativo. E sobre todo si pos moito de ti nunha determinada cousa. Igual non queres que todo o mundo a vexa. Igual é unha cousa que lle ensinas a certa xente porque é unha parte de ti que estás disposto a que vexa certa xente, pero outra non.
I'm the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I? It's because of what I did. I poisoned it for you. I don't think I ever told you this, but when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable. And the people who played them, they treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, it was I felt good about myself. Finally. For a moment, while I had that, I liked myself.
Esto. Estas de aquí. ¿Cómo?
And then you stopped, and I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all. Nothing. Less than nothing. What does that mean? I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself. That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work, is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please, I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. And I want to know I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading. And all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
Ah, no, estaban pechando o espazo entre portas.
More love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease. Solution. I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate. I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed. Maybe he just likes making prisons. Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you. If I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like.
Eso es curioso. Curioso porque no me atrevería a decir que non busco a validación externa. Pero a mí me pasa o contrario, no sentido de... Me resulta imposible estar satisfeito coa validación externa. Me resulta curioso ler o contrario. Ou algo que percibo como o contrario. Non ten que ser necesariamente o contrario. De feito, desde un punto de vista da lógica de conxuntos non o é, pero...
I think I need to go. And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for, and so I'm just gonna... Okay.
Depende. Igual depende do tipo de cousa de que estamos falando. Porque hai cousas nas que me custa moito atopar unha certa satisfacción. Atopar un... valoralas como que están ben feitas. É como que normalmente o procedimento é o seguinte: se non hai validación externa, está mal feito. Se hai validación externa, entón pasa a validación interna. E a partir de aí veremos. Eso pode ser. O cal non quere decir que eu sempre o teña en conta. Y eso, si lo tengo que explicar, me puede gustar bastante.
Turn back from this cave. You said, let me prove that I'm brave. Let me keep going. But the cave goes for miles and miles and miles. And you're so tired, but I know that you're strong. So turn back, turn back.
Sinceramente, no sé si tengo que decir algo. No sentido de... No sentido de... non sei que interpretación lle dá outra xente, non sei que interpretación hai deste final. Recoñezo que nunca xogar de Beginner's Guide e así como de Stanley Parable si sabía máis ou menos que había detrás. De Beginner's Guide non sabía o que me iba a topar. Pero a min hai partes deste xogo que me levaron por unha determinada introspección persoal. Entón, eu non sei se se lle pode chamar unha interpretación a esa vivencia do xogo. Creo que a vivencia do xogo é máis axeitada. E non sei, igual simplemente esa pode ser a miña conclusión. E se non o pode ser, pois temos un problema, porque igual é simplemente. Si eran as sospeitas que tiña, pero tampouco sei, o sea, en castelán polos textos se deducen cousas. En inglés non sei como será. E si me poño a darlle voltas, igual saco un par de metáforas que igual están collidas con pinzas. Pero en todo caso, bueno, pois non sei. Supoño que si teño que decir algo deste xogo. Si teño... É que a min me levou por unha determinada introspección creativa. Vamos a chamarlle así. Non é unha... Hai cousas que non son reflexións que fixese por primeira vez. E isto son así un pouco abstracto porque non estou compartindo todo o fío de pensamentos que tive ao longo da experiencia. E tampouco sei se o quero compartir. Supoño que igual que os xogos de coda, hai pensamentos que non están pensados para verbalizarse. Simplemente son pensamentos para pensar eu. Correcto, que non falo la número. Pero recoñezo que non esperaba estar 2 horas facendo, igual non estiven todas as 2 horas facendo ese proceso, pero non esperaba empezar a xogar un xogo en plan, veña, vamos a xogar algo de, a ver que tal está isto, vamos a xogar algo de chill, e de repente a metade do asunto estar como, hostia, hello darkness my old friend, I've come to talk with you again. E non sei, non sei, recoñezo que me deixou tocado dunha determinada maneira este xogo. Igual é unha boa recomendación, en plan, é un xogo que me deixou tocado. Creo que non podo expresar outro resume mellor do asunto, así que non sei, creo que vamos a deixar por aquí. E non sei moi ben que horario teño a semana que ven, pero si todo vai ben, pois debería empezar Mass Effect 2 o mércores ás 7, así que como sempre, graciñas a toda a xente que vos pasastes por aquí e vémonos na próxima. Hostia, no. Ben traído. Como vexas, o sea, si queres fago agora o sorteo e se non, pois ver, non me vexo co humor de sempre de vamos a facer o parvo, vamos a poñer a música de Quién quiere ser millonario e tal, pero correcto. Estou vendo as reaccións de Telegram. Pois nada, vémonos o mércores que ven, xa sortearemos ese día a clave en cuestión. Décalo, guiño.